Struggling to stay consistent? Fix this with discipline. That's exactly the lesson Christopher had to learn. For years, he kept starting and quitting, whether it was the gym, a side hustle, or even reading a book. His biggest problem wasn't that he lacked ambition, it was that he couldn't stay consistent. Every time progress started to show, he'd fall off track. At first, he thought something was wrong with him, but the truth was he simply hadn't built discipline. Once he decided to truly commit, everything shifted. He forced himself to train even when he didn't feel like it. He cut down distractions and built routines that kept him moving forward. Over time, that discipline turned into consistency, and that consistency gave him results. His body improved, his finances grew, and for the first time, he felt like he was in control of his life. That's the power of discipline, and it's what we're going to break down today. So let's get straight into it. This video is titled Struggling to Stay Consistent, Fix This with Discipline. If you're tired of starting and stopping, if you feel stuck watching other men pass you by, then this is the blueprint that you've been missing. But before we dive into the 5 key points, I need to make something clear. Watching a video can give you insight, but real transformation comes from action and accountability. That's exactly why I created my private coaching program for men who are done waiting and ready to execute. If that's you, hit the first link in the description or the pinned comment below to get locked in. Now let's go through the 5 powerful results you'll see when you use discipline to finally fix your inconsistencies. Point 1, you break the cycle of starting and quitting. Most men live in the same frustrating cycle. You get motivated, you start something, and maybe you even see some progress, but then, without fail, you quit. A couple weeks later, you're back to square one, promising yourself that this time it will be different, but it never is. That's the cycle that destroys not only your progress, but also your confidence. It convinces you that maybe you're just not cut out for success. Here's the truth, the problem isn't you. The problem is that you've been trying to rely on motivation instead of discipline. Motivation feels good in the moment, but it fades the second you get uncomfortable. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care about how you feel. It forces you to keep going, even when you'd rather quit. And that's how you finally break the cycle. Every time you follow through with discipline, you send yourself a powerful message. I can be trusted. That's huge because your brain records every choice you make. If you quit, your brain records that you're the type of man who quits. If you follow through, though, your brain records that you're the type of man who finishes. Over time, that changes your entire identity. Breaking the cycle isn't about becoming perfect overnight. It's about stacking small wins. One workout completed, one project finished, one promise kept. Those stack up. And eventually, you realize you're not the man who starts and stops anymore. You're the man who stays consistent. That's the transformation discipline creates. Point 2, you learn to ignore distractions. Let's be real, distractions are the silent killer of consistency. You probably don't even notice how much they rob you. A quick scroll on your phone turns to 45 minutes. A YouTube rabbit hole steals 2 hours. Saying yes to pointless plans wipes out your entire evening. Before you know it, your time is gone, and so is your progress. This is where discipline steps in. Discipline trains you to spot distractions for what they are, traps. It creates a filter in your mind that asks one question: does this move me closer to my goals? If the answer is no, discipline gives you the strength to cut it off. That's how you stay consistent. You stop reacting to every shiny thing that grabs your attention and you start focusing on what actually matters. Now, this doesn't mean you have to become a machine who never relaxes. What it does mean is that you no longer let distractions control you. You control when and how you relax. You decide whether you've earned downtime. That's a huge difference. The more disciplined you are with distractions, the more momentum you build in life. While other men are wasting hours, you're stacking progress. Over months and years, this gap becomes massive. The disciplined man ends up fitter, wealthier, and sharper, all because he stopped letting distractions dictate his actions. And once you get a taste of how much faster your life moves without those wasted hours, you'll never want to go back. Point three, you take control of your routine. One of the biggest reasons men struggle with consistency is that they live without structure. You wake up whenever, you handle things as they come, and you live in reaction mode, constantly being pulled in different directions. And at the end of the day, you wonder why you didn't get anything meaningful done. Discipline fixes this by giving you control of your routine. You decide when you wake up, you decide when you train, you decide when you work and when you rest. That's the difference between drifting through life and living with intention. This was a breakthrough for Christopher. Once he built structure into his day, his progress multiplied. He wasn't leaving things up to chance anymore. He knew exactly what he needed to do and when he needed to do it. That gave him consistency, and consistency gave him results. Here's the reality: most men waste hours every day without realizing it. Little decisions add up: sleeping in for an extra hour, scrolling for just a bit, pushing off responsibilities until later. Those choices compound into years of wasted potential. But when you master discipline, you create a routine that compounds in your favor. Every hour you direct intentionally builds towards the man that you want to become. And listen, if you've been letting your days slip through your fingers, then you need accountability and structure to break free. That's exactly why my private coaching program exists. I'll help you build a bulletproof routine and stick to it for life. Click the first link in the description or the pinned comment to get started today. Point four, you build long term resilience. Here's something most men don't realize: consistency is a long game. Anyone can stay committed for a week, but can you keep that going for months, for years? That's where most men fail. The difference comes down to resilience, and discipline is what builds it. Life will always throw challenges at you: stress at work, unexpected problems, tough seasons. Without discipline, those challenges knock you off track. You skip the gym for a week because you're too busy. You stop working on your business because things get hard. Before you know it, you've lost all momentum. But with discipline, you keep going. You push through discomfort. You train even when you're tired. You work even when you don't feel like it. That's resilience, proving to yourself that setbacks don't control you. Every time you stay consistent through difficulty, you build toughness. And the more you do it, the harder it becomes for anything to stop you. This resilience doesn't just help you reach your goals, it changes how you see yourself. You no longer view obstacles as reasons to quit, you see them as chances to prove your consistency. That mindset is rare, and it's exactly why disciplined men always rise above. Resilience is the shield that protects your progress. Discipline is what forges it. Without it, you'll always be starting over. With it, you'll keep moving forward no matter what life throws at you. Point five, you create permanent identity change. The final and most powerful outcome of discipline is identity change. When you first start, discipline feels like effort. You're forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. But over time, something incredible happens. Discipline stops being something you do and it becomes part of who you are. At that point, consistency is no longer a struggle, it's automatic. You don't have to argue with yourself about whether you want to train or go to work or whether you want to stay focused. You just do it because it's who you are. That's real freedom. The freedom to live as the man that you've been trying to become without the constant fight against old habits. This was Christopher's ultimate transformation. He stopped seeing himself as the guy who always quits. Through discipline, he built a new identity as a man who follows through. That's why his progress lasted. It wasn't temporary motivation, it was permanent identity change. Here's why this matters: identity drives behavior. If you still see yourself as lazy, inconsistent, or unreliable, you'll always act in a way that confirms it. But once you truly see yourself as disciplined, consistent, and reliable, your actions align with that identity. You'll naturally live it out every day. That's the ultimate win. It doesn't just give you results, it reshapes your entire sense of self. And once that happens, consistency is permanent. So there you have it, 5 powerful outcomes of using discipline to fix your consistency. You break the cycle of quitting, you ignore distractions, you master your routine, you build resilience, and you transform your identity. But remember, just knowing this isn't enough. You need accountability, strategy, and a plan designed just for you. That's why my private coaching program exists. If you're serious about leaving inconsistency behind and stepping into the man that you're meant to be, then take action today. The first link in the description and the pinned comment below will get you there. Discipline is the solution, consistency is the reward, and the results are waiting for men who are ready to commit.